Welcome, everybody. I am Jeffrey Paul. Welcome to Who's Your Band? I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
Hi, Jeffrey. It's going to be a fun one today.
This is going to be good. I'm looking forward. This is one of those episodes where we just need you and I to talk about this because there's a lot to discuss. I want to hear what you have to say. But before we introduce our topic, let's talk about something that's in the news. You sent this in a group chat with me and Adam. And Adam, can you pull it up for a second? There we go. And it's loading. Here we go. This is the list of who is going to be inducted into the 2025 Hall of Fame class. What do you think about this list?
Well, I will tell you about this list. I don't hate anybody that's on the induction list this year. The only issue that I have, and it's a weird one, is that I actually thought that Chubby Checker and Joe Cocker would have been in the Hall of Fame already. So selfishly, I wanted the Black Crowes to be in. But because they aren't on there, they aren't in the list, the Black Crowes can always go in. I honest to God, I think this is a pretty solid class this year.
It's a pretty interesting one. I mean, let's take it from the top. Bad Company. Well, I think when we talked about this was one of my must have to be ins. And the reason why I thought that is because how is a guy like Paul Rodgers, who has sung with Free, he's sung with The Firm, he has sung with Queen and his own band, Bad Company, and is considered to be one of the great rock voices of all time, not inducted in any capacity. So the fact that Bad Company is, and besides, if you look at Bad Company's catalog of music, it's certainly deserving. So I was very happy to see them in.
Yeah, Bad Company's catalog is a lot bigger than Chubby Checker's.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, Joe Cocker has some big hits too, but I'll even say Bad Company has more hits than Joe Cocker does too.
Well, this is what I would do. If you want to get Black Crowes in, you see underneath where it says Musical Influence Award?
Chubby Checker should have been in there.
Yeah, I take Salt-N-Pepa out, okay? And I put Chubby Checker in, and I put the Black Crowes in Chubby Checker's spot.
I would take that. I would accept that. I don't think that's a bad. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think Cyndi Lauper going in is well deserved.
100%.
Well deserved.
Huge into the 80s, even into the 90s. She is an influencer as well. Iconic, has stood this test of time, 100% in. I agree with you about Joe Cocker. How is this guy not in? How has he not been in all these years?
It's weird, right? And I know you're not a big fan, and this is not your wheelhouse, but I'm very happy that Outkast did get in.
You're a big Outkast guy. You talk about them a lot.
They're great, dude, because they're, you're not like a hip hop kind of guy, and neither am I, but they combine so many different things like hip hop, jazz, funk, just regular pop.
I like Hey Ya.
That's their hit. That's their hit.
I like Mrs. Jackson.
Again,
I am
hit.
For real.
You were real dead. That's what I wish. But Outkast I think it was a good pick. And I think it's one of those bands that the music world wouldn't mind getting back together because they both put out solo records and they're both fucking atrocious. So this is one of those bands where they really should get back together and just at least do an album. You don't have to do a tour, you know what I mean? But put out some new music at least.
I think going down the list, if you're going to have Nirvana, if you're going to have Pearl Jam in, you have to have Soundgarden.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I honestly, God, as much as I love them, I've seen them a bunch of times. I'm not sure I would have put them in over the Black Crowes. Okay. I probably would have put the Black Crowes in before I would put Soundgarden in.
Disagree, and here's the reason why. Chris Cornell.
Yeah, I love his look. In my opinion, I think it's Freddie Mercury and it's Chris Cornell. Those are the two greatest rock voices for me. Purest, just untouchable voices. But I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sure they would. They are worthy to go in, but I don't know. I'm kind of torn on it.
And then the White Stripes. we spoke about this. I don't know if on this show, on other shows that I've done, the White Stripes. And I gotta say, with the White Stripes, the more I delve into that catalog, the more I really like them.
Well, they're amazing. And the reason the White Stripes are going in is just because Jack White is as big as he is. And it's going to be at a minimum another 11, 12 years before he's eligible to go in as a solo artist. And even though their catalog is phenomenal, and they really did change the landscape a little bit when it came to that kind of like two-piece rock and that fast-paced frenetic shit. I think it's really as a kind of like an ode to Jack White to get him in the Hall of Fame first. And that's honest to God, that's how I feel about that. But I never saw them live. I would have loved to. The big thing is, are we going to get Meg White at the induction? Because she hasn't been seen in public in like 8 or 9 years.
Why is that?
She's a complete hermit. Just an absolute complete hermit. Made her money and wanted nothing to do with the business, and she does not go out in public. I mean, I'm sure she does, but doesn't get like noticed or recognized, But yeah, completely walked away from the music scene, and that was it.
What's your thoughts on the Musical Influence Awards?
Warren Zevon, absolutely. Even when is at the end, I mean, his one of the last songs, "Keep Me in Your Heart for a While," when he was dying, was just heartbreaking to listen to.
It's heartbreaking. I agree, but is he a musical influencer?
I think on a lot of people he is. Yeah, I think like on a lot of you got people like Springsteen who love him, or
they can like him, but did he influence him? Because I thought
I think so. I think he's more of a crossover of like when you see like the bands that are that kind of cross of like country, folk, Americana, kind of like Zac Brown band. Like those are the kind of people who are influenced by him. Maybe even like Dave Matthews a little bit. I can see him as an influential person, absolutely, but not Salt-N-Pepa.
Yeah, I didn't. That's a weird one. I get it, diversity, but I mean, there had to be someone more deserving than Salt-N-Pepa. I don't even think they belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at all.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I mean, I like them, but I don't agree with that either.
Yeah, they were like fine. They were kind of like a novelty group, kind of.
Yeah, they had some good music, but like again, it's not Hall of Fame worthy.
Well, they did Shoop, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Good song.
Yeah, it was okay. They had the big one that looked like she had a mop on her head. I don't know, Salt-N-Pepa. Anyway, let's introduce today's topic here. So what we're talking about today is not necessarily the greatest live albums, but what our favorite live albums. And I put it out there, and I got some responses from people, and I want to see, like, after I give mine and Sean gives his, I want to see how it matches up to the lists I got from people. So, okay. Sean, we're gonna do this all in a row. Do you want to start us off?
I'll start it off. I actually did research. You believe this? I'm going in prepared for a change. You see all this? You see what I did?
That's why you're wearing. Yeah. Why you're wearing glasses tonight.
Well, I can't read without them. So we're not doing a top 5 because Jeffrey has to be different all the time, and we're doing a top 6.
This is just too hard.
It is too hard, but my number 6 pick is actually dedicated to my co-host, Jeffrey. It is Iron Maiden's Live After Death.
I thought you were going to say that.
Yep, I think it's a great record. It came out in 85. I think the one thing that was, I don't know if you know this, or you might actually, but they recorded 2 different times for this live album. They recorded it in Long Beach, California, and then they recorded it in England at the Hammersmith. And the video was phenomenal for Long Beach, but the audio was far superior for London. So when you're looking at the video version of it, you're seeing the LA show, but you're actually listening to the Hammersmith Odeon performance from London.
That's pretty cool to know.
Yeah. They had some great songs on here too. I mean, let me go back to my sheets, Jeffrey. 2 Minutes to Midnight, The Trooper.
Great song.
I'm just going to run off my favorite ones that are on here. 2 Minutes to Midnight, The Trooper, Power Slave, Number of the Beast, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Iron Maiden, Run to the Hills, Running Free, Wrathchild, which I think is a very underrated song too.
Great song, Paul Diano era.
Yeah. So that was my number 6. I think I'm going to surprise you with my list tonight. I really do. I think I'm going to pull out some things that are a little surprising to you, Jeffrey. Number 5, a band that I don't really like, but I can acknowledge that this is a classic album. I'm going with Cheap Trick, Live at Budokan.
I have on my list. I'll talk about it as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is fine. I want to do it this way tonight because we're always cutting back and forth. And that was my number 4, so now this is my number 2. Whatever. Yeah, Cheap Trick Live at Budokan I think is a great record. Although not a lot of songs, only 10 songs on here. I Want You to Want Me, Surrender, Ain't That a Shame. Again, just a great live record. And I do think that, they had that big run in the late 70s, but I think they actually blew up more in the late 80s, early 90s once they had that comeback with The Flame and their cover of Don't Be Cruel, too.
They had a song called Tonight I'm Yours.
Yeah, it's on there, I believe.
I'm sorry, Tonight It's You. Tonight It's You. That was a great song. It was a great opener for them, too.
For me, this is one of the ones that I actually, whenever I hear of a live album, I kind of reference this, even though it's not my number 1. I actually went with Frampton Comes Alive by Peter Frampton.
So far, I'm not. It's surprising. I
got the last out of my last 3, 2 are going to surprise you.
Okay.
So Frampton Comes Alive again, masterpiece. I love this record. I actually, for a hot minute, had Humble Pie's Rockin' the Fillmore on my list.
Wow, that would have surprised me.
And I bumped it. To put this on instead. I figured I'm going Peter Frampton one way or the other, right? But again, great songs. What's that?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, this could be the first time on the show that we've ever brought up or referenced Frampton, and it's a long time coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Show Me the Way, Baby, I Love Your Way. Does a great cover of Jumpin' Jack Flash on here. Just a quintessential live record. And then they released a gigantic re-release.
Do you feel like we do?
Yep, that is on there too. That's on side 4. That's a double record. Yeah.
And it's a long one. And I
figured you'd like the 14 fucking minute song. Yeah, I figured you'd like that.
I love it. I love Frampton.
Number 3, Jeffrey. Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison.
Okay, there we go. That was something that came up on our view in my inbox. Yep. Yeah.
Okay,
a couple
cool.
people referenced.
Yeah. I think this was a game changer because it wasn't even about the live record. It was about him doing something and giving back to these people because he was trying to consider himself like the man of the people and things like that. But again, look at this amazing set list. There was 2 different concerts, by the way, too. I don't know if you know that. They played 2 different shows, 2 different sets because there's just too many people. And they took the best of both and combined them into the special itself. But Folsom Prison Blues, Cocaine Blues, Orange Blossom Special, yeah, I mean, Jackson, which is one of his absolute best songs, too. And this is before, like, a lot of the bigger hits even came out, too. So I love this record, too. I play this all the time, actually. Putting it in my junk pile there. Now we're going to number 2. You have to have this on yours. I know you did. It's probably your number 1. Kiss Alive. I get it. It's a great record. You can't beat it. It's when Kiss was Kiss, and it was the best version of fucking Kiss to begin with. There's not one bad song on Kiss Alive. That's the one thing I love about it. Not one. Every one of these, everybody knows. Any rock person knows every word, except for maybe Watching You in 100,000 years. But Deuce, Strutter, Hotter Than Hell, Firehouse, Nothing to Lose, Parasite, She, Let Me Go, Rock and Roll All Night, Cold Gin, Black Diamond, which I think is one of their most underrated songs too. I absolutely love Black Diamond.
My favorite song of that.
Really? Didn't know that.
Oh, in fact, a young Jeff used to pretend to be Gene Simmons, and I used to pretend I was playing in Kiss, and I used to play in front of my mirror doing Black Diamond.
Now, I wish you would actually
will.
pretend to be my number one, Kurt Cobain with Nirvana's MTV Unplugged.
It's a good one.
It's a great
good live
one.
album.
The reason I put it on. What's that?
Yeah, that's from the MTV, right?
It was a game. It was a game changer. This was an absolute game changer for the MTV Unplugged series. I've had to have seen it 500 times. I've listened to it maybe 1,000 times. I went through a very big Nirvana period, as most people my age did. Again, came out when I was like 14, 15 years old. So a very impressionable time. But the reason I love this album so much is because people don't realize a lot of
18-year-old chubby Sean Morton sitting there going, he's so deep, man. He's so deep.
He gets me. He understands what I'm going through.
Yeah, no, like I don't feel so alone anymore, man.
The great thing about this album, it's 14 songs and it's 6 covers, which people don't realize.
Lake of Fire's on that, right?
Yeah. So you open with About a Girl, which is on their Bleach album, which is a completely different version. Come As You Are. Then he does Jesus Don't Want Me for a Sunbeam by the Vaselines. The Man Who Sold the World by Bowie.
That's a great one. They almost made their own. I think Bowie even kind of gave him the nod on that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Penny Royalty, Dumb, your favorite song. Polly, On a Plane, Something in the Way. And then they did 2 covers of the Meat Puppets, which I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They did have a song in the 80s called Backwater, you probably heard.
Yeah, I saw them.
Okay. So they did Plateau.
Them and Butthole Surfers together at Roseland.
That's a good show.
Yeah.
That's a good show. They did 3 Meat Puppets covers in a row, which is kind of unheard of when you think about that on a live record. But they did Plateau, Oh Me, and Lake of Fire. All Apologies was the second to last song. And then the final song, Where'd You Sleep Last Night, to me, probably the most amazing thing that's ever been recorded on a live record. I don't think anything ever touches that. I've told the story before. It was supposed to be Teen Spirit, and you can't top that record. But for me, I love the reason I love this so much is because Nirvana was such a loud, boisterous, ridiculously grungy, sloppy, sludgy band. And they turned out a beautiful acoustic masterpiece, which to me, it's their best record by far.
It's a great one. It's great, and those are all good choices. I mean,
the floor is yours.
I was gonna say you could drive in a car, put a CD of any of those choices that you put on, and enjoy yourself. Those are all good choices. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to start with one that you hate. 1981. Rush, Exit Stage Left. There were 2 Rush live albums that I was considering. This is the second live Rush album. The first one was All the World's a Stage, which is primarily 2112 live. And then they come back out with a third live album where they will do at least the overture of 2112. But this one is really after they kind of hit it big, right after Moving Pictures really put them into, I think, a different level. I love the 12-minute version of Xanadu on this song, especially Neil Peart's drumming and the chimes that he plays on this. It's really cool. And then there's some big hits like The Spirit of Radio. There's Tom Sawyer. But then there's some stuff that I think is a little bit deeper, like A Passage to Bangkok, which was on side 2 of 2112. That has nothing to do with 2112. And then just a song that's kind of based on an Orwell, I think more inspired by Orwell, which was The Trees. So I love Exit Stage Left. Great album.
I can see you. I can see you and 2 of your friends wearing the acid wash jeans, sitting on the back of a pickup truck in some field, like a baseball field, and you're blasting a boombox and playing this, and you're going, "Oh man, you see that? Do you see Debbie Smith in that sweater? Oh, Maron, the puppies on that one, huh?" Yeah, I could see that. Totally see that.
I told you. Did I ever share this on with this show? What me and my friends used to do to Rush. So we're in high school.
Now
and we must have been either. Okay, we're sophomores or juniors. I think we're sophomores. And we would get high and we would go into my friend Stan Bandelli's house, and his parents weren't home. And we would go in, they would be me, my friend Stan, Snapper, and Larry. And we'd get high, we'd go into the bedroom, shut all the lights, put on 2112, and we'd
and
wrestle
each other
on
off.
yes, and fuck each other, right? I knew you were going to go there. But what we used to do, we used to kick the shit out of each other. Like, you couldn't see where the punches were coming from. You didn't know where anybody was. It would be pitch black. We'd be high, and we'd be getting like totally like immersed by 2112. And then like when it finally ended with that, we have assumed control, that's when you knew the fighting ended. And we'd come out of there sweaty and all scarred up.
I thought you were gonna say you cut the lights and you're gonna play Guess Who's in My Mouth.
we like taste the bony pickle. Who's bony pickle?
Jesus Christ! What's 4?
Well, that was 6. Number 5
right.
for me. Yes, number 5 for me is a duplicate that we had. The Cheap Trick live at Budokan. First of all, not a bad song on the whole thing. And when this came out, they were still kind of an opening act in the United States. It wasn't until the single, the live single of "I Want You to Want Me" came out, and that changed everything for them. They become a headliner. Also, the live versions on this song, which you're going to see on a couple of my lists here, have the same thing. The live versions of these songs are better than the studio versions, especially "I Want You to Want Me." The album comes out in 78. The album that we know is only half the concert, because they had only, I think they only had like maybe 3 or 4 albums. They weren't big at the time. It wasn't even supposed to be them playing Budokan. It was supposed to be Aerosmith. But Aerosmith, this is when they're just starting to get into their wacky phase. And Cheap Trick at least had some type of following in Japan, and it was kind of like a weekly series. So they put Cheap Trick on. Killer tracks. Come On, I Love, Surrender. And the thing is, they were just about to release Dream Police. They were on the verge of getting dropped from the label if this album didn't take off. So this was really a game changer for them. And also, again, I was a kid, and the beginning of Ain't That a Shame, there's a drum solo. I wound up learning to play the drums, and I learned how to play that solo. That's how much this record inspired me. So there was no way I could leave this off my list. All right. Number 4. This is my number 4. And this one, I don't know if you saw coming. And only maybe it's because of the time, maybe in a year from now, this wouldn't be on my list, but you go down these wormholes. And because I travel so much and I'm listening to the radio, I have been so immersed in this band. And the band is called The Band. And the live album is The Last Waltz, which came out in 78.
Brilliant.
Which it's that last album and that last concert was recorded and filmed by Martin Scorsese. Tons of guests on it. Clapton, Ringo Starr, Van Morrison, Bob Dylan, Neil Young. It's the last full concert by Robbie Robertson, Rick Danko, Levon Helm, Garth Hudson, Richard Manuel. The songs are great. Some of the songs you may know, Up on Cripple Creek, The Wait, but you said the best recording of any song was that last song from Nirvana. I would challenge you. Okay, right. I would challenge you, listen to Levon Helm singing The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. When it starts off with the tubas and the horns, and the way he's singing this song and the soul and where it's coming from inside, it will put goosebumps on you. And I just started going through a rabbit hole of this song and trying to find out everything I can about it. And it's just a sick, amazing song that tells the end of the Civil War from a Southerner's perspective. And I'm telling you, give it a listen. I'm telling this to the people out there, give the Night the Old drove old Dixie down. It is so gut-wrenching. I love it. So that's my number 4. My number 3, I have to put this on there. It's just an incredible live record. 1979, Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East.
Okay.
Holy shit, man. Their first live record, another album that's recorded in Tokyo. Every song on this album is better than the studio version. It starts off with the song Exciter, which gets you like, the insane high notes. But you talked about covers. Judas Priest does a couple of weird covers on this one. And they're amazing. Like the Joan Baez cover of Diamonds and Rust. Another cover, Fleetwood Mac's The Green Manalishi with the two-pronged crown. Excellent. The epic Victim of Changes. Listen to that one with headphones on. Victim of Changes. Just like when it comes down low and how it just kind of gets into your head. And it's the last album with Les Binks, the drummer in the band. And just like the way KK Downing and Glenn Tipling are going back and forth with their riffs, it just takes you to a different place. Same goes for a song called Sinner. Another banger is The Ripper. One thing about this album, however, Rob Halford was not happy with his vocals, and they had to go in and re-record the vocals. And I think that kind of takes it a little bit, but man, you listen to the studio version of these songs, they are not half of what this live album is. So Judas Priest, Unleashed in the East, you have to check that out. All right, I got 2 more on my list. And this is hard. I'll start with this one we already talked about, which was Queen Alive, Kiss Alive. Kiss Alive 75. This is every kid got into rock either because of the Stones or Kiss. For most people, it had to be Kiss. This is a 16-song double album. They only had 3 albums out at the time. So much of this album is going to be altered in the studio. Here's the ironic thing about it, okay? They redid Ace's guitar solos. They redid vocals. The only thing they didn't touch was Peter Criss's drumming, which was always seemed to be the argument against Peter Criss being in the band, that he wasn't such a good drummer. That they didn't touch. I thought that was interesting. You hit it on the head when you said about the first 2 songs, Deuce and Strutter. Sick, great songs to start with. The live version of Rock and Roll All Night compared to the studio version, that doesn't hold a candle. It's great, but it's totally redone in the studio. And like I said, my favorite is Black Diamond. I gotta give an honorable mention because I just did not know which album to go with here. Kiss Alive or Kiss Alive 2, 1977, because it had Detroit Rock City, and that opening is still the best opening of anything you ever
I
see.
will have to agree with that, dude. There is very few songs that can get a concert moving as fast as Detroit Rock City.
100%. But look at the other songs on it. You had Love Gun. You had Shock Me. I Stole Your Love. Beth, and my favorite on it was God of Thunder. Loved it. And then it was a double album, but only 3 sides were live. And side 4 was all studio cuts with a couple of good songs on it. Larger Than Life, Rocket Ride. Those were pretty good songs. All right. My number 1, I don't think it's number 1. I think it's just the order that we're doing this in. I'm a little surprised you didn't. I thought you would pull this out of your hat. But again, there were so many records that we left off. Like we didn't talk about Aerosmith Live Bootleg. We didn't talk about I think AC/DC. Oh, AC/DC had If You Love It Live, was a great one. The one with Bon Scott, amazing. But the one I had to go with, because again, it just brings back so many memories, and was every song just kills it, is 1979's Queen Live Killers, where they're touring. Yeah, where they're touring in support of the jazz album. It's the band's first live album. Every song is great. Opens with the fast version of "We Will Rock You," you know that, but it goes back to some of the earlier catalog stuff that sometimes maybe gets lost in the mix. Like I think "Death on Two Legs" is one of their best songs, but then you have the on side. This is all side one. "Death on Two Legs" and it ends with "Don't Stop Me Now" and "Spread Your Wings." Then you go to side two. And besides Bohemian Rhapsody, little gem in there. Do you know the song 39?
I may know it, but I don't know by that name. You know what I mean?
It's a great song. It's a Brian May acoustic, which is fantastic. And it's about aliens coming. It's a really fantastic song. So that is my top 6 live albums. There are plenty that we missed. Let me go to the videotape here on what people are saying about this. And all right. So one of our big listeners is Dave Neidel. He had a Queen album on it, but it wasn't the one that I picked. He picked Live at Wembley. Are you familiar with this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He had your album. Okay, he had yours in there, Nirvana, MTV Unplugged. This is a good one. Deep Purple, Made in Japan.
Don't like Deep Purple.
Okay. Now this one, I've had people text me, multiple people text me about this, and they keep saying it's a very controversial pick. Metallica S&M.
No, I think it's different. I don't think it's a controversial pick. I thought they went out on a limb with a lot of different things. And if they weren't Metallica, I think they would have gotten a lot more credit for a lot of the shit they did.
Okay.
You know, I think S&M was a fantastic pick.
And what do you think about is Ozzy Tribute a live album?
Yeah. I think he did have to say.
He did have a live album out that was really good. Jakey Lee, I think, played on it.
He has a couple. Live.
Okay. Other people saying Frampton Comes Alive. People saying Made in Live After Death. Here's one that's pretty good. Zeppelin's Song Remains the Same.
I thought about that one. I really did. That was. I had a top 10 at one point. I was in there at the top 10. There was another one I put in there that you've never heard of. Well, you know the band Typo Negative, but they had an album called Origin of the Feces. But all they did was they recorded songs in their rehearsal studio with 6 of their friends sitting on the couch, and then they just piped in crowd noise, which I thought was hysterical.
That sounds terrible.
It really was.
You know, our buddy Scott Brennan, I don't know, did we ever have Scott on the show?
No.
I think we did years ago. No, I think we did. So. I think we did. We may have talked, we may have had him on one of the list shows. Maybe. He chimed in with Folsom Prison, the Johnny Cash. Joseph Anthony, not the Joseph Anthony the comic guy I know. He thought, do you know Bullet in a Bible?
Green Day. Yeah, it's a great record.
Yeah.
That's a solid one. I think in a few years from now, that'll get a lot more credit. I think it's still a little too new, which is why it's not on the list. But that will be a good record. It's a top 10 at some point.
I mean, how can it not, man? The catalog is excellent. So they picked the right song. That has to be a home run. A guy we just had on the show, Ken Krantz, his all-time favorite. He loves the Stones, and of course, he picked Keith Richards with the Expensive Winos live at the Hollywood Palladium.
Right.
And
it means nothing to me. He's weird like that, though. But I saw the other pick that he picked, Jimmy Page and the Black Crowes live at the Greek. Yeah. And I don't know if you ever heard that. Wow. It's I have it on vinyl. That's a 4-record set. It is just unfucking believable how good this record is.
Yes. Speaking of 4 record sets, how did neither one of us pick the Springsteen live?
I did in my top 10. I narrowed it down. The live era, 75 to 85.
Yeah.
Yeah, I narrowed it down. I don't know.
Oh my God!
See, for me, it's not a true live album because it's pieces from all different concerts. So like when I think of a live album, I'm usually thinking one concert, one take, whatever, and that's kind of like a best of his live set. So that's kind of why I took it out.
And then this I never heard. I mean, I know the band, but I'm not a big fan of Slayer. Daniel McRitchie, Decade of Aggression.
Yeah, it's a great one. I mean, Slayer is what they are. You know what I mean? But that was they were the biggest thrash band out there, and that Decade of Aggression is a really, really solid record. I have it on vinyl, or no, I have it on CD upstairs, I think.
A couple of other ones that, I mean, you could pick any one of a handful of Rolling Stones. I think the album was Live Flash something. Oh no, it's a great live record that we didn't put, that we even mentioned. Pulse by Pink Floyd.
Yeah, it's okay.
A great one.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's
phenomenal.
Yeah. Sabbath live album with Dio is real good.
Mm-hmm. I would take an Ozzy before I take the Sabbath, though.
What was the live album that they had with Ozzy? I don't think there was one.
Sabbath didn't do a live one with Ozzy.
No, they did. We Sold Our Souls, which is more of like a greatest hits, but it wasn't live. They did a lot after they came out with the second album with Dio. They came out with a live album, and it was really, really good. I mean, it had like a great live version of Neon Nights, Sign of the Southern Cross. You know, really good Dio Sabbath songs.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, listen,
it's always a toss up for me with it, whether it's Dio or whether it's Ozzy. But
I have to get to one more that I have. Let me find this one. Yeah, because people are saying, hey, you know, this is what you should do. You should do live. And so someone sent me in I thought it was a pretty interesting list. Let me see if I can. Here we go. Okay. All right.
Can you spit it out?
He has a lot.
I didn't yell you the whole show.
Yeah, he has a lot. Yeah, he had Unleashed in the East, Kiss. Okay. The one on here that Mark put on was something that I thought you were going to start with.
What's
when
that?
You said I got some surprises on here. I'm surprised you didn't go U2 Under a Blood Red Sky.
In the top 10. You named three of my picks that I cut off. Yeah. That's a great record. I mean, U2 I say U2 in the 80s is probably still the best version of U2. I know they got the massive popularity in the 90s and 2000s, but for me, my favorite stuff from them comes from the 80s.
That's because he was cogent.
Who's what?
The best version of U2 is the now version of U2 because they're cogent.
Are we done?
You don't get what I'm doing there.
No, I don't get what you're doing.
Yeah. I was doing Joe Scarborough when he was talking about the best version of Biden is the now version of Biden because he's more cogent, the way he said cogent. I can't believe we're going to end the show on that. All right, listen, folks. If you like this type of talk, wow, clunk of a weekend.
You may fall into questioning, Jeffrey.
Yeah, you know, I'm going through the list here that people are sending in. I'm doing my own stuff. There's a lot of going on right now. Things are going on behind the scenes. You have no idea what's happening.
And throwing a little autism on top of that too, and there you go.
Well, listen, if you enjoy these shows, please continue to just like, subscribe, comment, send in ideas like this was a send in by fans. So we really do appreciate it. And if Adam will ever get this technology going, we'll be able to send out a lot more clips in the future, which is going to be exciting stuff. Yeah. But in the meantime, keep following, keep listening, and we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Goodbye, everyone.